Welcome to Walking Through Glass, the podcast with your host, Dr. Dina C. Brown. Hello. Happy Fearless Friday. Remember, on Fridays we really talk about how do we begin to shift from a bound mindset of being fearful of any and all the things that could and would have, should have happened, and really begin to live fearless, meaning with less fear, where we actually take the chance. So today, we are going to talk about, you guessed it, taking chances. And I want to encourage you on this Fearless Friday to think about all the things that you talked yourself out of because you were afraid. And I don't mean that little bitty itty type of, I'm kind of sort of afraid. I mean that fear that you've gotten because you're like, it almost becomes immobilizing. It stops you from thinking, and you could even feel the sweat break out in your hands and bead down the sides of your face. And even for some of you who really, truly have severe reactions, you feel a form of anxiety overtake you, where you get so confused you don't even know what to do. Because fear is really powerful. It does exist. But remember, you don't have to give fear a vote. So in order to take a chance, you have to be very clear about what it is that you think and know that you are required to do, what your purpose is. You need to be very confident about the execution space, about, yes, I have all the tools that I need to actually do what I need to do. And if I don't have all of them, guess what? You're knowledgeable enough that you know where to go get them. And third, you need to be consistent. Remember, in this season, I'm working on my consistency. And I will say that I'm so uber excited to celebrate the fact that, guess what? I've been consistent all week. And I've brought you a daily dose of Dr. Vitamin D every day, Monday through Friday. That's something to clap for. And here's the unique thing. I don't need to wait for someone else to clap for me and to validate my successes and my growth opportunities. What I'm going to tell you right now, clap for yourself. That's right. Clap for yourself. Especially when you choose to take a chance that pushes you way out of your comfort zone. And when you are outside of your comfort zone, that's when anxiety could rock you the most. And that's when that outside noise begins to interact with that inside noise. You know which one I'm talking about, right? So what I like to speak to is what I call that inner bully. That inner bully that tells you when you begin to start to do something, it starts to question. And you know what I really can't stand about that inner bully? The fact that the inner bully likes to remind you of all the things you did in your past that didn't work. All the people in your past who let you down. All the opportunities that you missed. All of the reasons why you weren't good enough then. Which is beginning to shape how you feel about yourself now. And so you marry that inner bully who's been beating you up, punching you to the left and to the right. And you marry that inner bully with, you guessed it, that external noise, those naysayers, those negative people who practice, I wonder what their inner bully is like, but they practice so much negative self-talk that they love to share that with other people because you know what they say, misery loves company. So you have your inner bully fighting, actually not fighting, honey, they formed an allegiance with the external noise. So all telling you why you shouldn't, why you couldn't, why you can't, and why you won't. be able to do something. And when you're trying to take a chance on something new, that pushes you to other levels of where you need to be. Because all week I've been talking about those transitions, those powerful I ams that we need. Not only being bold, but being consistent and understanding and knowing that you're worthy. And having faith and being faithful. When you pull all those things together, you have to understand that now it's time for you to take a chance. Take a chance and bet on you. Take a chance and tell yourself, I can, I will, so that you can reach the I did. And what you have to do when you're really trying to take a chance is to shut up the inner bully and actually exclude the external noise. So the external noise is a little easier to shut down than your inner bully, because those external noise makers, all you do is have to cleanse your circle. All you have to do is tell them, no thank you. You go ahead and say, no thank you. And you can use those exact words. You can say, thank you for your observation. And you keep moving. You don't have to explain. You don't have to get into detail. But the best thing is to really take a very close look on who you surround yourself with. Who do you allow to speak into your life? Who do you allow to speak into your children's life? Who do you allow to pour into you? And why? What is their value add? And if there isn't, then maybe it's time for you to go ahead and cull the herd, prune the hedges, so that you can bloom in the space that you're called to be. Because it's time for you to take a chance. And you don't need any extra weight. Now, that other part, that inner bully, much more challenging, but still doable. And this is how I deal with my inner bully. We have conversations sometimes. I find that when I break down things into relatable spaces, for me, that I'm able to process it through it. You see, I made a commitment, and one way that I deal with this inner bully is that I go back to the commitment. Some people call them resolutions, but I call it commitment with action that I made at the beginning of the year. Because I knew my theme for the year was elevate and execute. And what I'm elevating and executing is to live my best life today by loving myself intentionally. The key to that is loving myself intentionally. So to execute that and to elevate that, I have to be very strategic. And one of the first people I had to deal with was my inner bully. Okay? That inner bully. I call her Fiona. So when Fiona and I are kind of going at it, and then Fiona says, are you sure you're supposed to be blank? What if it doesn't work? Fiona loves to bring up the past. Loves to bring up the past. About what other people have said about me. What other people have done to me. And the opportunities that I let walk away. But you know what? I've come to terms with Fiona. At first, I used to kind of hide. I would just say, I don't want to think about this right now. Let me just bury it. But I realized by burying it and not thinking about it and not processing through it, I let it take root in my psyche. And you will never rise above the self-image you have for yourself. Never. And some of the things that were scripted into your narrative were scripted there before you had even a conscious awareness. So now people can be pouring into you. But that inner bully is not only the things that have happened to you, but all of those other things that had settled in and taken root that you didn't deal with. The hurts, the pains, disappointments. So I've committed to live my best life today by loving myself intentionally is when one of those moments and opportunities presents itself, I deal with it immediately. And even if it evokes strong emotion, I deal with it. That's part of the release. That's part of the washing away of the situation. And I think about the last time I felt utterly betrayed by someone. And that animosity, that resentment began to build. And it began to take root. Began to kind of nag on me. And I couldn't focus on what I needed to do now because I was so intent on being angry and hurt and holding on to all of those things that didn't add value to me. And this wasn't someone coming and talking to me, reminding me, this was me playing those old mind movies in my head. So what I do is when I now watch my mind movies, I watch them with a little popcorn and that yummy, yummy Diet Coke. And then I go back and say, what was the learning lesson? How am I better now than I was then from that experience? Not that the experience was great, but what did I learn? And what new information do I have that allows me to process the entire situation differently, to see my own role, my own place, and my own opportunity for growth? Because it's through the struggle, it's through the breaking out of the chrysalis that the butterfly actually begins to fly. And it's painful, struggle is bloody. So all of those situations, those circumstances that I'm telling you hit me in the solar plexus throughout the course of my life, the only way that I can shut up that inner bully so that I can take the chances that I need right now was to deal with it, to own it, to process it with a new level of understanding so that I can live my best life today by loving myself, all of myself. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again. How can I love who I am today if I resent and hate everything that made me who I am? And that includes disappointments. That includes broken promises. That includes failures. That includes all sorts of things. So what I do now is I own it with understanding. And I process it, okay, got it. And then I'm thankful that I had that opportunity to give me a new sense of understanding to add to my toolkit, to processing things that I know are coming down. Because everything that I've been through has prepared me for such a time as now. And everything that I'm going through now is preparing me for what's to come. So I'm ready to take a chance, a new chance. And I've been doing that each and every day. And my biggest chance was deciding to be present, to be showing up and for me right now. And it feels oh so good. And challenging myself. And I'll be candid with you and transparent with you on this Fearless Friday is that for me to actually publish the cities of my book tour date for 2020 for Walking Through Glass, How to Be Sane, Sexy, and Significant in a Male-Dominated World, to publish all the cities that I'm going to, that was me taking a chance and committing to going ahead and put out there. Now, see, for my clients, I make strategies and plans and we put things together and all of that. But for myself, I'm always trying to fix it up a little bit more. That's the other inner bully person I have to shut up. So I put it out there. And then you know what I did? Oh my God, this was so cool. I took another bonus chance because I selected cities where I knew someone. Not only know someone, but I love someone who I know cares about me and who's part of my village. And then I reached out, and I'm still reaching out to them to say, okay, you see this date? What I need from you is to be my tour ambassador for this location. And so for me to take a chance on someone else to support me, huge. And you know what? So far, I haven't got any no's. It's all been, when are we doing? Where are we doing it? How are we doing it? Let's go. So, that being said, I encourage you to take a chance on this Fearless Friday and act and move and watch how God shows up in your life because your steps have already been ordered. So, this is your host, Dr. Dina C. Brown, and you can catch Walking Through Glass, the podcast, on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Music Play, Apple Podcasts, and of course our host, Podbean. And I would ask for you to take a bigger chance and share Walking Through Glass, the podcast, with your friends, with your family. Pick 2 people. Or 20, whichever one works for you. And that if these daily doses of Dr. Vitamin D are helpful to you, are inspiring you, empowering you, and help you transform your day, because everybody needs a little more sunshine in their life, then let me know. Take a chance, reach out to me. And if you would enjoy having a conscious conversation with me, please definitely DM me. I'd love to have you on our show. And this Sunday, we have a new episode dropping. And it's all about mental health. Being a mommy and really shifting our mindset. So, it's been a fun week. Remember, Daily Dose of Dr. Vitamin D comes to you Monday through Friday. And it's just 15 minutes of fabulous. Today we went a little bit over because I was so happy that when I say take a chance now, I don't shake in my shoes. I actually get excited, and I hope you do too. So have a fun, amazing, fantastic Friday. Do something great. And see you back here on Monday for your daily dose of Dr. Vitamin D. But definitely look out for Sunday's episode where I have amazing Z, the SEO queen, as we talk about being a mommy, our mindset, and mental health as we wrap up our May series on money, mindset, and mental health. Have a great one. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.